Reaching out to all the massive on the African continent. And it's you too.
I must confess, your body very offensive. They scatter my defense, your. I must confess, your body not my objective. They giving me problems. I darling, would you fly with me international? You go there with me for flight. Honey, would you stay with me? As I know normal, you go there with me for life. I enter this slow life traffic. This is your body, yo. It be high like one, yo. Oh my leg, yo. Don't go to me, yo. If not place in Rihanna, and your body not I want to with you, Lisa. I must confess, your body very offensive. This not my defense, yo. I must confess, your body not my objective. They giving me problems.
See how happy y'all here, Tom? See, you can end up like that man right there on the street right there. See him down there begging. See that black man? He's homeless. He's begging right there. You don't want to be like that. See him right there with a sign. Please help me. I'm hungry. we don't want that here, Tom.
The Black Hot Fire Radio.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, beautiful people. I hope you're doing better. Live on TikTok, Facebook, X. Thank you for joining in on Let's Pop with Iritan. We've been discussing the Africa's Revolution in regards to the finance bill here in Kenya, but it's always a great time to be alive here on the best radio station in Africa, the Black Hot Fire Radio. Kindly download our app on Google Store and also stream live on www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. Remember, you are the change you need to see in the world. You matter. You're amazing. And be the best of yourself every day. We're going to talk about what has been happening, and also we're going to go back in history in regards to everything that was being discussed. And basically, it's happening right now in regards to redefining the African mind. Definitely. I'm going to share videos with Dr. Irene Kanner talking about
Let me say something real quick, Eric. Let me say something before you get started. One of my sons is a music producer, and some of his friends watched the show. They said they got a crush on you because they've never seen an African woman so sweet and kind. I was like, what? So you have some admirers, Eric, of music producers, but they said, you got to get rid of the Jesus shit, but they said, you're so sweet and kind, and I started laughing. They was asking me your name. I was like, who are you talking about, Shamani? No, not that Shamani. That Shamani lady's a gold digger. I said, God damn, y'all crazy.
Oh my God. Flattered. Thank you.
But anyway, I just wanted to let you know. It's like that lady that's in that ear or something. Ear time. So my son and them friends called me, let me know they got a little crush on you. It's funny. We've never seen no one so nice and sweet. You don't want to go to that Jesus shit, but she sure is kind. I said okay. I'll pass it along. I'll pass it along. We go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for receiving message. Right.
Yeah, I got a little
Yeah.
no airtime to at least pass it along. I can't say
Right.
they gonna ask me, did you tell us? I'll say yeah, and I'll be lying. So I pass it
Right.
along. Okay, cool.
Thank you so much for passing it along. Appreciate it. Alrighty, that's been it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on TikTok. It's me, your girl, the lovely Iritan, always talking about redefining Africans and the African mind. And we've seen how the week has been here in Kenya, the 254, in regards to the finance bill. And a lot of people out to protest and really voice their voice out in regards to what's happening with the finance bill because it's affecting a lot of them in different sectors, in all sectors actually. People had friends, Joby's friend, Shimani's friend, all of them were out there talking about this, also protesting about this. And we had different people who were basically resisting in regards to being arrested because they were not literally causing any chaos or vandalizing anything. We had Erickson Odhiambo, the Secretary General for the Alliance Party. He's actually on a meeting right now. I don't know in regards to some political thing, but he wanted to join in today. But I hope he's going to join in on Monday so that he can tell us what's happening in regards to starting a party that they wanted in regards to fighting this finance bill. But it's amazing to see. It's amazing that everything Keith has been talking about is happening right now, the revolution. And one thing Keith said, if you're here, you know you're here, that it's just going to happen. Like there's no one who's going to basically voice it out. It's just going to happen by itself, which we see it's happening. And guys are saying, even though they said no to the finance bill, it's just the beginning of the revolution. And I said this earlier, sometimes things have to go wrong for things to go right. The fact that this generation, even the Gen Z, they're just living in their life, like having their own lifestyle, having a normal day-to-day lifestyle. But this thing came up in regards to the fun them to really voice themselves out there. If this didn't happen, maybe everything will be normal. But this had to happen so that people will understand it's time for revolution. But we have Dr. Ari Khanna here. I love listening to her in regards to everything she's saying. And I'm going to share a video in regards to her said that Africa, we need a common goal for us to be united. If we forget about tribalism, we forget about religion, she says, and every person with their own selfish interest and have a common goal to unite Africa, that's when the revolution will start. And I'm going to share this video in regards to what she said. And then we're going to basically talk about it and basically point out everything that she said.
I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference, that's when the colonial masters got together and decided that these Africans who are so powerful, the Africans who were defeating them in battle with bows and arrows while they were fighting with guns, they wondered, how on earth are we going to defeat such an amazing race? You see, the truth of the matter is they tried for centuries. Any other race that would have gone
Exactly. They tried for centuries, like I was telling Joe, but they tried for centuries because they can't beat us hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
And sadly, it was the Africans that taught them that weapon. The African brought the gun into Europe, but the African's not a murderer and a killer, so he never really developed it. The white man learned it and then developed it for murder and killing and conquer. So they never beat us until they got weaponry, the gun that was developed good enough to come in and kill in numerous numbers. They, like you said, they tried for centuries, but they couldn't beat us because they can't. White people are weak. They can't fight black people hand to hand. They always get fucked up. All races cannot fight black people hand to hand. So out there you got Chinese and Indians beating on Africans in Africa. That means you're mentally messed up in the head. You're the strongest people on the planet. Go ahead, Airtime.
they realized that we are indestructible. So they decided to come together in 1884 November to talk about how we can effectively make sure that the Africans are forever defeated. So they met in Berlin. They met to design Africa in a way that Africa and its people are forever defeated. That was 1884. Fast forward, nothing has changed. The strategy remains in place. You see, they designed these economies in a way that as long as these economies remain what they are as individual African countries, they are economies that can always be exploited. When is Africa going to wake up and realize that as we are today, we will never be in a position to take our Africa?
I feel like for this generation right now, maybe the finance bill was a wake-up call to basically understand like what's really happening and basically voice ourselves
Yeah,
out. Maybe
yeah, Airtime. Well, yeah, because you're the generation that's finally got enough information. Remember, all this stuff was kept in 1884 is when they decided. Don't get mad when they decided to bring you the fake Jesus shit. The Africans didn't believe in Jesus, Airtime. Sorry to tell you that. And your ancestors are not evil. They didn't kill and rob people and rape them. So that narrative's a lie. So they said we're going to create borders, and what the borders you got today, and we're going to devise a way that we can get their minerals and keep them impoverished and poor. And so even though Africans started to get independence and fight back in the late 50s and 60s, they were still not educated enough to know the white man's a liar and the schemes he's going to put in still keep you messed up. We're going to put a group of Africans over you guys that are puppets. They're going to happen to take some money. I'm rich. I got money. I don't care about the other Africans. So that became your presidents of Africa. You know, that's why you got these people that have been in power for 40 and 50 years in Africa. We have these family dynasties in Africa. It's crazy because that's where the Europeans designed it. And so these kids now, you guys have the internet, and now you're sharing information and breaking down the lies. See, the leaders of these puppets, they kept all this educational system intact, these lies. So your grandparents and your parents couldn't wake up. They're reading them the lies and scared, and they gave them fear and lies every time. You can rule the people with fear and lies, and also the fake tribal division. So, but that can only last for so long every time. Things work in cycles. Eventually, that's not going to keep working. It's going to break down. And so now you're seeing the breakdown of what's happening with the youth. The youth are knowing too much information. Go ahead, John. You got it.
Right. Thank you.
Its rightful place on the world stage. As a continent, we are a heavyweight. We belong in the big league, in the heavyweight ring. And the only way that we can take our Africa to its rightful place, conversation with the image in the mirror. Because we need to decolonize ourselves. We have failed to come together because of the rule of divide and conquer, the seed that was also sown during the Berlin Conference. We must wake up and realize that we are victims of it. When we go to a negotiating table as Black people, we always go feeling inferior. It goes back to Berlin Conference. And they come in feeling superior. So until the African wakes up and realize that we're just as good as anybody else.
I think that's the notion in regards to the Africans feeling like they're not good enough, as she said. There's that notion in regards to like the white people are better than us.
Yeah, because you know why? You know, it's completely. It's also kept Airtime. Look, you can't fight Airtime, which you worship. You worship a white figure, so by default, that means you worship white people. That's psychological. So if you think your God is white, you think these white people are better than you because you believe this God is your God, and you believe white people are better than you, Iraton. So that's why they did it. It's psychological. So mental colonization and mental slavery is actually harder to break physical slavery and physical colonization. Because if I got your mind, Iraton, I control you. I control you by remote control. You're not going to break free of that because you think I'm better than you because you worship me. And that's the problem. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, that is so true because we've had this discussion with regards to if you have a white leader right now, and I think in the morning, Sirinki, our guest in the morning, gave this example. If you have a white leader right now and an African leader right now, and you go to a congregation of a lot of Africans, for example, right now, and each of them gives maybe a speech in regards to something about health or financial stability, most of us would definitely believe the white individual.
Exactly.
Right.
So what you're saying, Iraton, you're talking about mental colonialization. You're colonized mentally. That's what they did. That's what happens. So that's why she's telling me you got to decolonize your mind. You got to get a white man back his religion. And most black people are scared. They've been taught that nonsense since 1884. It was a lie then, it's a lie now. But you're going to have to see them as just regular people. And the funny part about what you're saying, that Iraton, right? What you're saying, which is funny, right? The African couldn't even fight the European until World War II, until the black man went to Europe and fought in that war and seen white people can die. They didn't believe they can even be killed like regular people, Iraton, because of the religion, because of the mental enslavement. Only after World War II, they said, damn, these white people can die. So that's when all your revolutions started happening around Africa. Because white people said, damn, these white people can die.
Right. But it's amazing right now. It's basically time for every African individual to basically go back deeply into. I know a lot of young people are basically woke in regards to history. I see a lot of TikTok in regards to young people talking about it's important to go back to your history, first to understand who you are as an African. That's where it starts. Because maybe you know the surface in regards to yes, Africa is the powerful continent, but when you go back understanding who you were and the fact that there were system and cultures, the fact that also kids said we didn't need any civilization or education. We had
You were civilized. You had all that, Iraton. You didn't rape and kill. You're the richest people on the planet. So how could somebody told you was a savage and bring you a fake God? And now they brought you to God and came in Africa. Now we're poor, Iraton. Now we are actually dumb. We have self-hate. We hate each other. We got more tribal shit. We're worse off now than when they came. So something ain't right. Their history's a lie. You were peaceful, loving people, Iraton. You didn't want for anything. You're in Africa. Everything is there.
That is so true. And first of all, in regards to, I've seen we're talking in the morning in regards to the university, they've increased the prices or the fees for the universities, and it doesn't still add up because they're not basically teaching anything that is going to help any individual when you're going to pay whatever amount to go to the university. And then when you get out, Iraton, Africa has not created any jobs for these people to come out who've got these educations. There's no jobs for the people that's gone and spent those money for school. There's no professional way of becoming upperly mobile, right? Creating a life for you and creating a family, right? Becoming upperly mobile, as they call it. So what's the benefit of going to this college and there are no positions in Africa to obtain? No, they haven't done that. Right.
And the reason why you don't have jobs because why? Africa's not been allowed to develop Iraton. That's why. Your development is the white man's fault. If you develop, the white man loses money. You don't want to do that. You don't want to share no money with me and you, Iriton. He wants all of it.
Right. Everything. But I
Every,
feel like it's time. If they want us to pay whatever amount to go to the university, they should basically be teaching us about entrepreneurial skills in regards
exactly
to start
right.
our own businesses. Talk
Exactly
about
right,
that
Iriton.
to be
Exactly.
and somebody's gonna employ you. That's what they teach us. Like we should work hard, have good grades, how we can get a job, not start our own businesses. And I feel like that's what the generation right now, the Gen Zs, because they started their own digital platforms and they're so motivated every day to go on the social medias. Some is generating money in regards to sometimes when you have a good following on TikTok, brands will start calling you to present, advertise their products. And that's when you start your own
Exactly,
platform
Iriton.
or your own brand. Yeah. And that's why they're really upset in regards to this bill because
Yeah.
this
They
is
want
their
to
own
tax.
way
They
to
want to
move.
tax something that they didn't even create. They audacity. They want to tax something here, Tom, that they didn't even fucking create. You created your own space, and they want to tax something that they didn't even
Yes.
have. They didn't even create it here, Tom.
Yeah. So anything that is basically generating money, the government wants to put their hands and their feet there forcefully.
Exactly.
Right? I can see Davido. Hi, Mandamano Nitamu. Is there a Mandamano right now? Thank you, Dan, for joining us. KK, thank you guys for joining us on TikTok. Really appreciate it. Kindly share and invite others to join in this beautiful conversation in regards to Africa's revolution that has already started because I'm seeing a lot of people saying it's only the beginning on their status. I still there's an update in regards to why is the church clergy not saying anything. And one of the guests who has been here on Let's Pop in Iraton, she's saying because of the Sadaka, Sadaka is the offering they receive from the president and the wife. That's why the church is not talking. That's what Maya is saying. And someone else told me that the reason why they're not talking, or basically they did, they say the Catholic bishop gave a press briefing and I was there and they're against it. I was like, why is it not on TV or any social media? They were like, it was printed on the Gazette. I'm like, nobody reads the Gazette nowadays. Like, really. Anyways, I asked him like, it's not anywhere on social media, and they were saying maybe they're gonna brief it today on the news, but we haven't seen the church basically talking about this at all. If they did like a conference, it should be on the social medias and also on the news that we always report in here. But that's been a question in regards to why the church is not really talking about this, which is very heartbreaking. But I'm gonna give another video in regards to yesterday we had the MP of Embakasi, that's Babu Owino, and the activist who resisted being arrested. They were all in this interview with Jeff Koinange, and one of the ladies was asked, "Would you like to vie for the seat in Parliament?" And she said yes. And Jeff Koinange asked her one thing. She was like, everybody before they get that position, they're always very nice and very innocent, and they're for the people. And then when they get that position, something changes. Are you going to change? I'm going to play that video right away so we can see what really happened in regards to the news, or basically what Jeff Koinange was actually asking this lady.
Almost with everything except matters development. Kimani Chungwa himself, he had over 1.2 billion put for him in roads for Kikuyu constituency alone. Why didn't he remove that? But because we are the minority in the budget committee, if we raise the issue, they say that they are the majority. And it goes to Kimani Chungwa, who defends it spiritedly and also religiously on the floor of the House. And he has 1.2 billion. Lack of it is not equity, because that is development only on one side. So, Jeff, I want to tell you that people like Kimani Chungwa, before they became before he became the majority leader, he was a very humble person.
Now,
right now, this man's ego is bloated. This is a man who hides his ignorance in his loudness. Jeff, this is a man who's messing this country.
Look, he's not here to defend himself.
Is here impliedly. That's why he has already rejected you. Yes, so let me deal with him. Let me deal with him.
Yeah,
I think let's do conversation.
well, you know, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you run for office? You see, you're thinking about it. It's taking 10 seconds.
I would.
You would.
I would.
Why? Seeing that the parliament is full of these people.
No. I come from Madare constituency, and our member, Madare constituency, and our member of parliament has failed us time and time and time and time again. For the last 10 years, I've been a human rights activist. We've been saying, where is our...
This is the lady that resisted being arrested the other day. So she was basically on an interview on Citizen TV on JK Live.
representative? When police are killing us, when floods are happening, when this is happening, even there isn't demolitions in Madare. Madare residents are sleeping outside after the floods, that is not the kind of leadership we want to see.
So you would
forward.
run?
I would run. And I think collectively as a generation, we have seen what not to look for in leadership from the current leadership that we have in country. We've seen not to have members of parliament who cower under the presidency, who choose to say, I know I was elected by the people, but now I am in parliament, I obey the president. Those are very backward tendencies.
Do you think there's a
backward-
certain
Exactly.
fear
You don't,
factor?
because it's corrupt. You don't obey the president. You are a parliamentary member. You're supposed to obey your constituents who put you in there to be their voice. That's what a parliamentary system is. You're there to be your people who voted for you voice. But since Africa wasn't really set up like that, it's smoke and mirrors. What you see is not set up like it's supposed to work like that, but it doesn't, because the Europeans never intended for no Africans to have any power in no damn Africa concerning these countries where they steal and extract minerals from. They never expected any Africans to have any power. We're going to put our puppets in there. They're going to do our bidding, and that's that. So Africans are not smart enough to figure out what's going on. They're not educated enough. We're going to make sure we keep them stupid with all these goofy school fees, and like you said, all this money they're paying for education that doesn't benefit them. We're going to keep that going.
Yeah.
What we're going to do. So that's what happens. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with.
Right, but I believe right now, like the young generation, the generation right now, who are basically voicing out their opinions and what basically what's wrong with the government. Hopefully, they will not drown into what these other members of parliament drawn into when they get that position. Honestly, I have so much hope in them. Like they're not going to do that.
Well, it's called integrity. When you draft people now, since you got a revolution, you can't go back with the old thing. So you're right. What you got to do is you got to find young candidates every time to have integrity. That can be bought and sold with trinkets. The Africans, since they've been so colonized, they've been, I got a car, look at the car. No, how about you build your own manufacturer your own goddamn car? How about you gain power? Oh, look at I'm the one with the big car now. I'm the one with the house. All the nonsense, all the material shit that doesn't mean anything. You're there to serve people. And you'll get all that if you progress the country forward. You're always going to get all that. But no, the African is short-sighted here, Tom. You see, that's when you get dirt bag behavior. Because they're rob and steal from each other, not realizing the bigger picture is that once you create a decent country, everybody wins. Not just you. Not just you, Iriton. Everybody wins. Not just your greedy ass. Everybody wins. Not just you. So once you learn that, and that's what they have to understand. That's what all the scamming the Nigerians do, because you'll do dirtbag behaviors to understand, hey, if I do fair business, I'll continue to get good business. Because you've been kept so impoverished, You think, oh, if I make a quick buck, and that's what these politicians are. If I make a quick buck, then me and my family, not concerned about the rest of the people, you know, as long as it benefits me. But that used to work because Africans were too backward to know what the hell was going on. They were too scared and silent. Just go pray to go pray to Jesus. Well, the youth don't want to hear that. Go pray to Jesus shit no more. You know, they go pray to Allah. It was, hey, what is going on that benefits us? So you can't go back here, Tom. The genie's out the bottle. There's too many youth that know stuff. So it's gonna be a scary. These people are gonna be scared to death.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's really happening, because I believe they definitely didn't think this is going to happen in regards to the protest. Actually, even on Tuesday when they started, I believe there's the number that really turned out. It was like, okay, let me see what's happening. But yesterday was like, okay, this is really happening, and you have to go there. Thank you, Arthur Shelby, for joining. I see you, Eric.
Exactly right. It's and they're scared that see, none of their puppets control. This is independent. This is the youth, so it's real. None of they fake puppet opposition is called it. This is the youth organizing themselves. So it means it's real. So this is some scary shit for them.
It is, but guys feel like they're ready to basically risk it all in regards to like standing up for themselves, and also they're thinking about their future kids, because Jeff Koinange also talked about this here. And let me play this video as this guy talks about it.
To lose your fear. Ruto is just one man. Kenyans are in their millions. It's an easy pick. Lose your fear. Go with what the people are saying. If the people have said, listen, we don't want the finance bill, it's so easy. Rejected this finance bill, I therefore will vote no. What is the contention about
What
it?
I understand, or I can think about it, is maybe the president is also at a stake on his own, also like at a very tight corner in regards maybe to the contract he signed, maybe, and he had to pass this bill also, because also the loans that he owns from the IMF, and he knows he has to pay it back with an interest. So I feel like also for him, he's at a very tight corner, which he put himself. So it's also not about, nobody pushed him to that wall. He's the one who wanted to be the president, and he thought, there was a video that was going around in regards to what we were saying last year about the taxes are going to be reduced, everything is going to go down, and they were playing that video and putting it like before.
It's a lie every time. They know that they've been taking loans every time. Understand that the IMF is a scam every time. It's a scam. So it's created to put you in debt every time. It's a scam.
Mm-hmm.
So now Kenya's been put in debt like all African nations. And now they want now they want you to be enslaved. Remember, white people are parasites. So now they want to parasite off your labor to make them money from them giving you fake money. So now they want to come back and now put all these draconian taxes on the people for giving loans that never benefited any people. Those loans went straight to the pockets of the criminal class in Kenya, or just all throughout Africa. See, this not just happening in Kenya, this all throughout Africa. That's why you see Ibrahim Traoré said, what you see Ibrahim Traoré said, IMF came to him and said, hey, we got loans, come take some loans. He said, nah, I don't need none of your goddamn loans. Right? Because he knows it's a scam. When you're educated, you know it's a scam, and you're not corrupt. They're corrupt. They know. These African leaders pretend like they didn't know these loans were scams. They were more worried about them getting the money every time. They knew that these loans were bad. So they begged Ibrahim Traoré to take the loans. Now, once you pull that up, he said, nah, because he knows it's a scam every time. He told them, no, I'm not taking none of your fucking loans. I'm not taking none of that shit. We don't need them. We'll. No African country needs loans every time. The money's enough there to develop it. It's that you got politicians that were put there that are, a criminal every time. When at the African youth, these African who rule to all these politicians are criminal. And so now that's why they passed the bill. You see, the people don't want it. In a democracy, they're supposed to follow what you want. But the IMF said, you're going to pass this bill. That's what you're going to do. We don't want to hear shit about it. Like, okay, master, okay, daddy, because they've stolen all the money every time. They've stolen this money. Kenya doesn't need loans. Ghana doesn't need loans. These corrupt politicians have taken that money, have not developed nobody, because they were put in power to do that. So, open this up real quick. Open another tab real quick. Ear time for me. Say Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso turns down IMF loans. And Burkina Faso is poorer than Kenya, so why would he turn down a loan? See, say Ibrahim Traore turns down IMF loans.
Okay.
Funny thing.
I'm looking for that. Captain Ibrahim Traore in September 2023, the democratically elected government of President. It doesn't say anything about that.
Oh, well, yeah. See, I ain't telling you about you. He turned down the IMF loans in the World Bank. They came to him. They begged him. Teach them take loan. Why would you beg somebody to take a loan? Because they want to put you in. They want to put you in debt. Once they put you in debt, then they can start stealing everything like they're doing in Kenya. Put these draconian laws in. He said, "Nah, I don't need your loan. You keep it." So that's what's going on. These leaders have stolen all the money. Now they're wicked. They want to put all the money they stole on the backs of the people here at town.
Right. They're not saying anything about it.
Yeah, so understand. That's why, he was like shout out to the Kenyans. They now know that Ruto was not elected by the people. He was selected because he's supposed to be. He's actually a criminal. Him, Uhuru, all these African leaders are all criminals. But he's supposed to be sitting up in a prison right now, Iraton, for crimes against humanity. Him and Uhuru, they were charged with genociding Kenyan people, but they were let go because the CIA. You can look this up. Say William Ruto charged at the Hague or the ICC criminal court, but since they control that court system, they allowed those charges to go away. Because I'm sure they talked to, listen, we're going to put you in power. First we put the goopy motherfucker Uhuru in power, then you. And when we put you in power, that's what we want you to do. And you're going to do it. Or we're going to lock your black ass up.
Right.
The charges against William Ruto have been dropped by the Hague. Because he's charged with killing innocent Kenyans, which he did do. And they want to tell you about their fake, and they use the fake Jesus thing with the Africans because you believe that nonsense. This man's a whole goddamn criminal. Right, talking about this fake Jesus nonsense.
Right, it's still loading, but thank you, General Mosquito, for joining. You're saying loans equals to triples? That's what you said, baby? Jumbo Sarah. How are you doing? Good morning. It's still loading, Keith. But I can see they're just saying the prosecutor versus William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang at the ICC.
Exactly.
Sometimes, Ruto and
yeah, they would take it to the ICC Iraton because they know that they killed innocent Kenyans. They murdered them, and they know he did it. But they made him president because he's already controlled. So he's going to push their agenda. They've already got him. He's a puppet. Right? Him and Uhuru both. Their money, all the money, I told you, always given to them by who? The Europeans. He ain't ever made shit, never done shit. How's he a multi-millionaire? Like Kagame, stupid ass, down in Rwanda, and goddamn Museveni in fucking Uganda. They're made millionaires by the puppet masters.
Right. Is it the Ruto and Sang case was terminated on 5th April 2016?
Exactly.
Yeah, charges for crimes against humanity allegedly committed during 2007-2008 post-election violence in Kenya. On
Yeah.
23rd January 2012, the judges declined to confirm the charges against Mr. Koskei. His case also involved William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang.
Remember, they can
That's what's
remember that's
happening.
their remember that's their court, and they actually was honest. This I think it was this year, last year came out. We created that court to convict the African, not no white people, because they said we gotta start putting these Israelis up. They said we're gonna put these Israelis up for committing genocide in Gaza, and they said the quiet part out loud every time. They said we didn't make this court to prosecute no white people for crimes against humanity. We did it for the dumb African. So we can control that stupid ass. They said the quiet part out loud every time. Everybody knew it, but they would, of course, they would never admit it. They came out and just said it for real. So
Right.
Ruto's a criminal. How's he a president? Because he's their puppet. He's supposed to be in prison. He killed innocent people in Kenya. That's a fact. It's not nobody
Yeah.
don't know. He done that. He's a
Yeah.
criminal. But they can cover it up because they know that you were given a fake religion. So his wife is out there, and Jesus and the Lord, and I'm Lord Jesus and Jesus and the Lord. Well, he's a whole goddamn murderer. Jesus and the Lord and Lord and the Jesus and the Lord.
Right.
Well, he's a whole criminal.
You're
He's a whole murderer.
Alrighty.
What is so difficult about voting no for that final? What will Ruto do to you? We hear that he's bribing members of parliament. Hata huko mashinani tunasemanga kula kura ni kwa nani. I'm not saying that they should take bribes, but I am saying do the
I think.
Yeah.
do the right thing.
Yeah.
It is so easy to do the right thing.
And just for my generation, Ganji ni
Wait.
Lady, Ruto's not the one bribing them, lady. Ruto's not the one bribing them, lady. IMF and the European powers are bribing your parliament, not Ruto.
Right.
Go ahead.
The other guys who maybe do not have an idea what IMF means, it's International Monetary Fund. It's an organization of 119 countries working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, that's what Google said, facilitate international trade, promote high and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty, really, around the world. And also, it says that the IMF
Everything you read there is an absolute lie, Erickson. Everything you read there is an absolute lie.
Yeah, that's what Google said. Yeah, and they say that mainly the IMF resources mainly come from the money that countries pay as their capital subscription quarters, in quotes, where when they become members, each member of the IMF is assigned a quarter based broadly on its relative position in the world economy. That's what Google said. The meaning
Now, I
IMF.
want you to ask this question. Say, what does, as Google has said, what does the economic hitman say about the IMF? What does the economic hitman say about the IMF?
Okay. It says John Perkins in this financial institution. I know this is going to be the case, and before they make the loan, they'll probably check in with the IMF and make sure that the country that they're doing this with, I mean, they probably already know there's a list, but they want to make sure that. Okay, Maine, he convinced underdeveloped countries to accept massive loans for
Exactly.
infrastructure.
Now listen. Underdeveloped countries, Kenya. I want you to understand this. Now, what they Google to take these fake loans. Go ahead, continue.
To accept massive loans for infrastructure development and ensure that the projects were contracted to multinational corporations. The countries acquired enormous debt, and the US and international aid agencies were able to control their economy. That's IMF,
Exactly.
guys.
So what it does, Joby, Ayrton, what it does, it takes control of your economy and keeps all people enslaved who use it. It's not what Google told you. Oh, it's to help. No, it's to keep you enslaved. That's why it was created.
Right.
Because they knew they couldn't fight you no more on the battlefield because there's not enough of them. So they used these other scams to enslave you. That's
Right.
what it's designed to
See,
do.
yeah, it's not what Google is saying. I feel like you have to really do a lot of research to tell Google to tell you
Yeah.
what the real fact is.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're looking for. Yeah, because they created Google. They're not gonna tell you no real information every time. You gotta know where to look. So that's why I told you to go that
Right.
way. And then they'll tell on themselves.
Right. And also it says economic hitmen, John Perkins writes, are highly paid professionals who cheat countries around the globe out of trillions of dollars. Their tool includes fraudulent financial reports, rigged elections, okay, there we go, rigged elections, payoff, extortion, sex,
Hold
and
on,
murder.
hold on. It's rig elections. Shout out to Kenya.
Yeah.
And that's right. That's right. Shout out to
Rigged
South
election,
Africa.
guys.
Rig elections.
Mhm. Right. This is amazing, like to read, like literally right now for me. Payoffs, extortion, sex, and murder. That's what IMF is all about, guys.
That's right.
Literally.
Welcome to the real IMF there, here at time. Sorry to break your heart again.
My heart is broken. But I'm good. I'll continue with Jeff Koinange.
Let's be sure.
You know?
It could be ganja.
Yeah. It could be ganja. But listen, Wajida, they say people change when they enter that
That's
house.
what's-
Correct.
Basically, that's what I was talking about right now.
People change.
Yeah, which is now the
They-
strategy
they-
that Gen Z and
they
millennials are coming with.
They don't change. They don't change. They were already running to begin with. And IMF has already made sure who gets in there. That's why they're scared right now
Right.
with Gen Z now breaking that mold and gonna put their own people up there. So they're gonna come to the Gen Zs and try to corrupt them. IMF's gonna come to you. It's called economic hitman. Say, hey, you want some sex, you want some drugs, but we're gonna give you some money too. But you're gonna do what we tell you to do. You're gonna be our puppet. That's why you got to make sure you have a system of people that you're going to put up now to run for office that are uncorruptible. You retire. You got to make sure they have real integrity. They care about the people. That's what they're
Right.
scared about right now. See, because they're going to come. Like I told your friend Wednesday, they're coming. They're going to come to corrupt.
Yeah.
It's not based on no helping you and give the loans and all that dumb shit. So make sure they keep stealing from African people. African people stay in poverty.
Right.
That's why they were created. The economic hitmen every time.
What about the members of parliament, literally? Because Jeff Koinange is asking her about if she would like to vie for a position as a member of parliament.
Yes, you got. That's what you got to. You got to put your own people. You got the youth. You guys got the numbers, but you got to vet them and make sure they're non-corruptible every time. You got to, because the IMF, the hitmen are coming. They're gonna
Yeah.
put us. Hey, we're gonna kill your whole. We're gonna come to you. They're not coming with Jesus. They're coming every time. We're gonna kill your whole family.
Right.
You love your mama. You love your daddy. You're gonna murder your whole fucking family. You don't vote this way. So when you have integrity, say, well, I'm gonna have to vote the way I gotta vote. I'm going to do for the people. And tell my family, hey, if I go into politics, hey, your life is in risk. This is real. This is economic warfare. The world runs, like I told you, friend, this is about the world runs on Africa. Africa has no idea. The runs off of Africa. Africa, everybody's impoverished. So they're going to fight for Africa. They're going to try to kill you. They're going to try to bribe you. They're going to try to put you in sex parties and have you sleep with kids, all kinds of shit. Because the fight for the world is Africa. So
Yeah.
you got so the youth, when we start this new movement, like some of this new party, we got to pick people that have integrity. We got to go through a process of weeding people out every time who have real conviction, real conviction, and real They're non-corruptible. Because once you put the country back in order, the money's going to come because you have the wealth. Once you weather the storm, the money's going to come. But you got to weather the storm because they're coming. They're going to come to kill you. They're going to come to corrupt you. They're going to come to bribe you. That's why the IMF exists. It doesn't exist to help no people.
To help themselves, literally.
Yeah, off of you, exactly. Their wealth comes from you.
That makes sense.
Most Africans don't know any of this. You're too busy praying in your goofy church. And let me pray with the Lord or Islam. Allah, 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 Allah. Okay, moron. That's not gonna stop them from stealing from you. But you continue. That's why, like you said, this has got to be taught in college. This got to be taught in goddamn elementary school. This information's got to be street knowledge. That everybody knows this in school here at time. Then you can defend yourself.
That's tough.
An absolute overhaul so that we have new people that we can hold accountable. Overhaul parliament.
All of it.
Pole Babu, but we actually
Why are you
need
apologizing?
he's the only elected representative of the people here, and we're talking about an absolute overhaul of the people's representatives. It is because they have failed. It is because they failed us time and time again. It's not that Kenyans are not seeing these things happening. It's not that we don't see the impunity, the corruption, the theft. We see it. It pains us. And the pain piles and piles until now we are like, okay, we are going to the streets and there's no force under the earth that is going to stop us until we actually achieve our mission.
Would you run?
No.
You wouldn't run.
To answer that,
Tell me another story.
yes, I want to tell another story. I'm a data scientist.
Yeah.
Let me brag about myself. There are very few people in this country who know data the way I do. I cannot run. I will not want to run. But once I find the strongest politician that I would like to work with, I will run his data and I will get him onto that seat. Him or her.
Yeah.
I swear is either now or 50 years from now, I'll be a king. I will make a president using it.
But the people make up king and a president.
Not
What?
Data.
I'm talking about, we see the people.
Yeah.
To me, what's their number? What you call people, I call them data.
Crack it next time is someone who actually is really issue business.
We will find that.
Ruto campaigning on hustler narrative. Bottom up, nini. So sai watu wa Korada, we are going to check your history.
But when
And
2027 is away, yeah?
No, it's not.
It's only 3 years
It completes
away.
now.
It could be sooner.
Huh?
It could be sooner.
Majori is saying people are woke right now. The guys are woke in regards to checking your history because Kitambo guys are not actually really wondering about where you're coming from. Okay, they will know a bit, but bits and pieces. But she talks about, you're going to check your history and basically analyze you in regards to why. And as Keith said, you have to choose someone who has integrity in regards to basically helping the people, fighting and standing for the people, someone who cannot be bought in regards to anything they're being brought, the glitz and the glitters, right? Because the economic hitman will come for you, you know.
See now they're using commercial because they know what they do to each other.
Yeah.
Have you seen them using commercial? They do anytime.
2027 is just 2 days.
Ni hapa tu.
Hapa tu na bado
Yeah.
kuna hand of God.
Invisible hand of God.
Yeah.
If you consider that it's a generation writing their own future,
Yes.
3 years is
It's
nothing.
not a long time.
It's
Those
nothing.
3 years,
Because you're talking about guys who are about 30, 25.
Actually, most of them are 18, 19 kids.
18, 19.
Yeah, yeah.
18, 19.
So if you take an average of 25,
young parliament.
they are talking about when they will be parents. They are talking about when they'll be when they'll be our age. They're talking about how they'll live when they are 50. That's 30 years, 40 years. But they have to write that now.
The thing about, so these young people are saying, you want me to get a child and bring up in which country?
Exactly.
In which healthcare system?
How?
In which
That's basically
community?
revolution. I remember even Jobin Harshaw, she was like, okay, when I think about getting a kid, bringing in what education, health facilities, because everything is just messed up, guys. Thank you, Sanjo. Good evening. Hope you're doing better. John Muata, thank you for joining. And say General Mosquito saying Siasa za Kiafrika. Yeah, speaking in Swahili, or it's Google. Siasa za Kiafrika na familia kutishiwa zinapaswa kutafuta kimbilio. Na, is it true? Are you speaking Swahili? Is it you, General Mosquito? It's Google, right? That's a really nice, amazing Swahili that you're talking there. Kimbilio na? What's the last word? What's the last word? Very classic. Thank you so much for joining us. We're talking about Africa's revolution, which has basically started in regards to Africans and the young people being woke, their mind being redefined, also going deep in regards to understanding our history, knowing who we are, which is a motivation in regards to like, we didn't need any civilized Kitambo. We were already civilized. And most of us, I was sharing a video with Dr. Ari Khanna right now, said that we've been brainwashed to see like the white people are better than us, and they have that mentality they're superior than us. Even when you go to a conference, within them or in a board, in a room full of them, we have that mentality that we are inferior and they're superior. We have that, even the body language. So she talks about the African unity, and we need a common goal because tribalization was here in regards to for us being divided. Economic division, which we are always fighting against each other. But we have a common goal that we've seen, the Gen Zs right now, there was only one common goal. We didn't understand or care who is this tribe, where do you come from? Nobody really cared about that. And we saw how guys were really supporting each other. There's so much unity. When one person is injured, everybody comes together to help them. The hotels were giving water and throwing water to the people protesting. There was so much love and unity, and it was basically beautiful, honestly.
Education system. Yeah. So they're saying we are fighting for what we want for our kids because our parents failed us.
Right.
They never fought for playgrounds. They never fought for public utilities.
Your parents didn't know no better. You gotta, you know, do go in on the parents. The parents were indoctrinated with religion and nonsense. They didn't know, and they were kept in fear. So when you're kept in ignorance and fear, guys, understand they don't have the access to information that you have now. So your parents, I'm gonna be a little easier on the parents because they were kept in ignorance and fear. You don't know what you don't know, Iritan. You don't know what you don't know. You know, you taught lies, so you don't know what you don't know. You don't know. How do I know what I don't know, Iritan? You know, how do I know what I don't know? So it didn't really fail you. It's that they didn't know anything. And they were in an information blackout on purpose. Africa's been kept dumb and ignorant on purpose to control those resources and wealth. So I wouldn't really call it failing. I just say they just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Yes, I can see General Mosquito saying they keep deleting my comments.
Of course.
I'm sorry.
You know TikTok. TikTok. You better bring your butt. Airtime's also on the network, General Mosquito. Go to the network and give her your comments.
Yeah.
He's also live on the network, I think. So go on the network and leave your comments. I think she's, I don't know. Maybe.
Really nice, General Mosquito, keep that.
And the unborn child. The majority of the people in the streets yesterday have no dependents.
And our generation is supporting.
Did you see that tweet yesterday or X that said we're going to take our parents' IDs so that they
make good bad decisions.
You know what? One of the reasons why our generation is supporting them is because we don't know what to do, how to protect our children.
Mm-hmm. Right.
In that, until this happened,
That's what Keith just said right now.
A despair. In fact, the biggest question was whether Ruto is going to change the constitution.
That's
And you know, and at some point it looked real.
Yeah.
Like it can happen.
By now,
Our excitement
There is
is now
no
we know
right
it will never
at the
happen.
never
it
happen.
will never happen.
For sure. It
Yeah.
will never
Imagine
happen.
Never say never.
No, it never happen. Let him there. Let him there. Let him there.
So we are excited
Well,
to
listen,
know that we don't have to worry about that.
Hapa hakuna boka wa Ruto. We are not. Hapa hakuna boka wa Ruto. You see,
Ichungu ako hapo kwa simu.
we are not. Those young Kenyans are not Ruto's wives. They are not Ruto's employees. They don't care. They employ Ruto. Ruto works for them. They understand Ruto is their servant.
Exactly.
He's a public servant. He's an employee. He works for them. They understand that part about this conversation. They're telling Ruto, we have no healthcare, we have no education, there's no money, but you're giving your wife 1.3 billion shillings to do what? Na kuchaguliwa.
Jeff, we should not even talk about changing the constitution.
It is outrageous.
So the thing is,
Yes.
we're going to hold Ruto accountable. And how do you know how we're doing that? Beyond Ruto, people are going even after his kids. They're telling him, by the way, we know what you own, where you live, what you do. And I love the transparency because Ruto wants to come to our pockets and into every part of our lives, but he wants to be untouchable. He's already in our pockets. And you know what? He's taking more than what we're giving him. He's robbing us,
By
actually.
force.
He's a presidential robber.
To play the IMF, definitely, but it's too much, and that's why there's so much anger and rage, because you're literally leaving everybody with nothing. A lot of young people nowadays, they're living on their own. They're basically fending for themselves. Honestly, if you see guys who are still at their parents, they actually want to move out of their houses nowadays. Young people from like even let me say 16 or 17 after high school, they want to basically have their own life, and they're doing everything to basically get their life in regards to living on their own. And as I said earlier, a lot of them are doing digital marketing. A lot of them are Instagram influencers. And when you come for something that benefits them, they have to literally retaliate.
Pickpocketing a naked person.
He's robbing us. He's robbing us to fund a life that we cannot afford.
It's true.
Let's have austerity measures. And finally, the last thing I want to say, we need a debt audit. We're being told we're paying debts. What are we paying for? When these two guys came to office, they told us one thing. They got empty coffers, money was stolen. By who? If money was stolen, tell us who stole the money. Go after the thieves.
Where's the IMF? Really?
That money spent. They promised us a state capture commission. We don't even need that. Just do a debt audit, follow the money, we know where the money went.
Follow the money.
Unless the president, who was deputy president, he stole with Uhuru.
Oh, we told you here, Tom, follow the goddamn money.
So true.
Together. But if they never stole together, Uhuru and his people stole. Go after them. Not a single minister from the Uhuru regime has been taken to court about stealing from public coffers. So the thing is, Ruto asitufanye sisi ni watoto mawajika. He took up the Bible with Rigathi and they promised us they're going to find us the money where the money went. Aache kizungu mingi, achukue your passport, afiche ama chome. He stays in Kenya until he recovers the money. Recover the stolen money. Wache kizungu mingi.
Actually, I want to
and the devil, listen, Ruto anapenda kutuombea sana. Hatutaki maombi. The devil never stole from Kenyans. The devil is innocent. Hapa mnaekelea shetani. Mnaekelea shetani. Shetani ya kuiba.
The devil is scared of it.
I think the devil is scared of Ruto. Definitely.
And even God is just saying, the devil that you're talking about lives in this country. Shetani ana bank account. The devil has no bank account because the devil never stole. God has no bank account. Let us remove God and the devil from this conversation. We don't even pray.
Exactly.
Just
our money. You gotta grow up. You gotta get rid of the devil and the God shit. You gotta grow up as African people. Just thank you. You gotta grow up. Can't be more like Child in the Head. Hey, about the devil and the Jesus. No. Fuck that. Where's the money? Shit. Don't bring Benny Hinn. I know you had the first lady or the second. Talking about Benny Hinn. Benny Hinn has been prosecutor. He's come out, I'm sorry for teaching people lies. He's a con man. You couldn't tell Benny Hinn was a con man? You thought he was giving miracles and shit? African people, you got to grow up. Go ahead, John.
All right.
When we were fighting about the Eurobond, and we did a lot of investigation about the Eurobond, I still believe today that a lot of that money was stolen.
Yeah.
And when we said that, we were told we were crazy. But within that time, it turned out that Malaysia had taken out a Eurobond, and the entire Eurobond was eaten.
What?
In Malaysia, the entire Eurobond was
Just like
eaten.
Kenya's then.
They ate it.
Entirely.
All of it.
All of it. That has happened also. There's an African country also that was in Malawi that also had another. They called it, I think, a tuna bond. There are 3 countries where Eurobonds were taken and eaten entirely. Went to private accounts.
Babu, you want to say something? Hold on.
I agree that some things are supposed to be investigated.
Accounted for.
I can't believe that we don't.
I want to support Bonnie on the issue of debt accountability. From history, having a debt is not a problem. Taking loans is not a problem. And we have an economist called Franco Modigliani. He came up with a theory called the life cycle hypothesis under the theories of consumption. And he said that as we are, you can borrow money and develop yourself, get something that you can't get as at now, something that you ought to have enjoyed in 70 years' time, so long as you prepay for it. The problem that we have in Kenya is that we borrow money, we take loans, for 1, recurrent expenditure that does not bring development, and for 2, corruption. That money that we borrow, the people who borrow it steal that money. So you borrow your money and then you steal it. Number 3, for patrimonialism, to impress the keys of power, the people around Ruto. And therefore, those debts are called unproductive debts. So those debts, we end up paying them, and our generation, our children will come and repay.
One children then will be paying, and the children after that.
So it is not fair for us to take loans. Ruto has taken a lot of money up to now. So I wonder why the finance bill, taxes should be increased. And there's something that Ichung'wah himself raised today in Parliament, and allow me to explain it, about imposing tax on imports.
The eco tax, the eco levy.
No, generally imports. Yeah. You know, Kenyans consume around 80% of imported goods because we are still not in a position to produce, to manufacture.
Exactly. Yeah. Manufacture. That's not Kenya. That's Africa. That's on purpose. That's why you got bad power. That's the economic hitman. That's on purpose. So Europe can develop off of Africa's back. No African country produces anything. You think it's just Kenya? You think you did some kind of bad luck accident? It's the scam. Ghana don't produce shit. Nigeria don't produce shit. Uganda don't produce shit. Tanzania don't produce shit. Zambia it's Africa. The white man came in to make sure he extracts your resources. You won't develop and don't produce, so it'll make him rich. His civilization, which he never had, off your back. That's what it's called. So it's not just. That's why you also got to know all of Africa, Sister Dr. Eric Connors. You got to know Africa. Can't just be Kenya. Because you got to know this is the whole thing for African people. The scam is in every African country. Go ahead, Eric.
Alrighty.
We have 3 sectors, or three sectors in our economy. The first one is service. The service industry consists of the banking facility, insurance, education, and health, which contributes around 65% to the Kenyan economy.
I believe as Africans, we can definitely produce and manufacture our own products.
You can produce everything, Airtime. Yeah. Everything is there with you. You got everything. Yeah. They don't want you to do it. You got everything. Of course you can. Of course you can produce everything. But guess who don't want you to do it? The white man, the IMF. Of course you can produce everything. Everything, Airtime. Of course. But they don't want you to do that because you're going to make them poor. Because if you produce everything in Africa, what will the white people do for their jobs? Oh, they won't have any. You'll now become wealthy every time. So that's the war. That's the war.
That is so
Econo-
true. Because
Economic warfare. You got everything. Everything's in your ground. The resources you got. Resources make the products. All you gotta do is what? Put the damn industry there to make finished goods out the products that come out your ground. So you got jobs for all Africans. You're getting wealthy.
yeah,
So the world's trying to stop that every time. I'm gonna give you religion. I'm gonna give you nonsense and other shit, so you won't ever do it.
right.
You believe you can do it? Yeah, you can do it. It's
Yeah,
not. It's not in the belief. Can you do it?
we did
You
it.
used to do. You do. Yeah, you used to do it. The white man
Yeah.
came in and stole all your industry when it was just getting started. Yes.
So
You
true.
you know who's head of the clothing thing in the world? The African. And literally, Irritan, the Europeans came into Africa and stole
Mm-hmm.
your clothing machine. Literally, and took them back to Europe.
Right.
Psychopath, crazy. Go ahead.
It's amazing because we can do it. Looking back at history, so how the Asian African Moors brought civilization to Europe. These are like Africans
Yeah.
who are converted to Islam, and they
But they never.
built.
That's a lie. They never really converted because they used that. No. They want to say that the white Muslim want to believe they never converted because that's why you got something called Sufism, which is not even Islam. What they did, they went under the cloak since they were Islam became such a powerful force. They pretended to become Islamic, right? And so a lot of those African teachings, spirituality, is in something called Sufism, Islam.
Right.
So if you go study Sufism, Irritar, you say, what's this? It's different kind of Islam. It's actually African spirituality that they hid under an Islamic name. So if you see people getting, so they say, yeah, I'm Sufi, I practice Sufism. Oh, okay, let me show you the definition of Sufism.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you right
Look
now.
up the definition of Sufism. Look up the definition of Sufism. And you'll see that it's a more spiritual Islam. So it's just African science hiding in Islam. Because they never accepted that Islam shit. They knew it was a lie.
There we go. Okay, just a moment.
Take your time. See what it says.
So,
Sufism. I think it's Sufism, Sufism.
SIAM?
Oh, let me see. Let me see how to spell it. Make sure you get it right on.
Yeah. Because it's bringing
That's
something.
how do you spell Sufism? Okay, yeah. SUFISM. SUFISM.
Already. Mystical Islamic belief and practice in which Muslims seek to find the truth of divine love and knowledge through direct personal experience of God.
So I tell you, it's the mystical spiritual part of Islam. It's not Islam. It's but they're tied to Islam because they needed to tie it to something. It's really African spirituality reclassified because they refused to accept the Islam shit. So they just renamed it as Sufism. It's a more mystical spiritual part of Islam.
Right.
It's just African spirituality. They're trying that the Moors practice and took into Europe.
Right. And they built these amazing empires for this guy. It's also insane. It's amazing
Spain,
how they got them.
Spain,
Right.
Italy, Sicily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went throughout Germany.
So we have
Yeah.
It's amazing. So we can build these things. We can basically have our own production industries. It is in us, right, guys? So I believe it's basically the time for us to understand our culture and to understand our history as Africans. As I'm almost winding up here on Let's Pop with Iritan, but we'll basically continue this conversation on Monday. I'll definitely have a guest in regards to this, but I believe we can do this.
See, when you take back your history here, Todd,
Yes.
you take back your pride. You take back you're no longer now bowing to white people because they thought you didn't do nothing. There's a lie. Now you take back your humanity here, Todd.
Right.
So you don't think white people are better than you no more because you taught them Iritan. They didn't teach you. You taught them how to read and write. Mathematics. You taught them. So when you get your information back, you won't be like, oh, the white people so much better than me. Oh, I'm bowed down and bowing and all scraping all that crazy shit because you got back yourself.
Right, guys. I feel like if we go back to history, like that confidence and basically the understanding of who you are basically indulged into you, and you're like, you know what? We were not taught how to read and write because that's what we've been taught in the education. Like, oh my gosh, I was like, these people brought us civilization. They taught us how to read and write. They've built amazing infrastructure for us. That's what honestly has been in my mind for the longest until
that's called a colonized mind, Iritan. Now you're decolonizing your mind, as Dr. Arikana said. You've been taught lies and nonsense. You've been given a colonized education, and that's on purpose.
Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how we're not taught anything before colonization at all.
Of course not.
Books and all the books we read, it's about how the white person discovered a lake, a building. So
how can you discover shit that black people are already living on?
Right.
So I'm gonna come to your house there and say, I discovered this house Iritan is living in. You say, Keith, I'm living in here. Hey, shut up. I discovered it. I discovered your house Iritan. You're dealing with psychopaths, Iritan. You're dealing with psychopathy on a level you can't understand. You can't fathom how insane these people are.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for joining me live on TikTok.
So I'm gonna name Iritan's house St. Keith. St. Keith of, because I discovered it. St. Keith of Newsom is the name of Iritan's house.
And it's amazing because we didn't actually definitely think deeper about that, because you're like, this is our country. How did this person come and discover this lake? I believe you heard it when you're young because your mind is still vulnerable and you can grasp things easily.
They did it it's fun. They did it everywhere they went. It's called power. They're making this up. They're claiming power here, Tommy. Name things, you're claiming power. So they did in America too. They took him in and just started naming shit from the indigenous people. They just started changing the name and said they found it. Everywhere they went, they said they found it shit everywhere. Now people make jokes about it today. That can be say, you know about the Europeans. Everywhere they go, you got people living and they say they founded the shit. Like what?
Right.
You're dealing with a psychopath. Much love, guys.
Sure. Much love. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me live on TikTok. Remember, it's all about redefining Africans as we redefine ourselves. And it's always about you are the change you need to see in the world. And today's topic was Africa's revolution that has definitely begun. I'm so excited, exhilarated to see what's next. And I believe I've been seeing this on the social, like everybody is using their platform now actually to voice out what's wrong, what's right, and basically fighting for their country, what's right. And I'm excited, it's better for us to go deeper into our history. It makes you understand things better if you go back and rely on your history, because you'll have a new light in regards to who you are and what you're supposed to do in regards to everything that's happening. But take care and have a beautiful afternoon. We're coming back with
now you understand who the IMF is. economic hitman.
Yeah. Economic hitman. Sure. Deeper, because the Google was saying something different. Take care, guys. Have a beautiful afternoon. Much love.
This your body, oh.